Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Do you know that Chishtism is known as the Silsila E Aliya among all the branches of Sufism, which means the supreme order? The reason behind that lies in the story of the origin of Chishtism. As you know, every prophet of Allah has declared a successor to himself upon his nation, which was another prophet or messenger. But when it came to the matter of the succession of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was a very unique scenario because, as you know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last prophet of Allah, and therefore he could not declare another messenger or prophet as his successor. Instead, Allah had decreed for his prophethood to be eternal, and that is why Allah had ordained for his prophethood to continue in the form of wilayat in the future. As a result of which, in the Quran, in chapter number 5, verse number 67, Allah commands the prophet to declare his brother and his beloved son-in-law Ali ibn Abu Talib as his successor. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam then made the announcement, "Man kunto Maula fahaza Aliyun Maula," which means whoever considers me to be his Maula should henceforth consider Ali to be his Maula. Now, it's worth noting here that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not use the words, "Whoever considers me to be his Maula should consider Ali to be the deputy or next in command." He specifically mentions that Ali should continue as the leader or the Maula, just as he himself had been. This is a clear indication towards the fact that from then on, prophethood was to continue in the form of wilayat in the future. Now, as a physical keepsake of this divine obligation which Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam conferred upon Maula Ali, he granted to him the blessed cloak or the khirka as it is known, which he had received from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the night of Miraj. Now, this blessed cloak, along with the treasures of spiritual wealth which Maula Ali possessed, were passed by him to his student Imam Hassan al-Basri, who was one of the early patron saints of the Chishti Sufi order, and he then passed it on to his successors, and so on. In this way, the Chishti order of Sufism came to be known as the Silsila E Aliya, as the Pir Kamil or the spiritual masters of this order of Sufism are the bearers of the authority of the wilayat of Ali, and thereby the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. And I would also like to point out here that it is a grave mistake on the part of Muslims today who think that they are born 1400 years after the passing of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because does that not negate the promise of Allah himself that the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to be eternal? Was the greatest prophet of Allah to be a guidance to mankind for only the 63 years corresponding to his physical worldly life? That is not possible, right? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself has declared in what is most famously known as Hadith Sakalain, one of his most famous traditions, in which he says, "Indeed, I am leaving two things among you, to which if you hold yourself, you will never go astray: the book of Allah, who is mighty and great, and my Ahle Bayt, my household, my Itra. O people, hear, and I have announced to you that indeed you will enter my presence and I will ask you about what you did to the Sakalain, the two weighty things. And the Sakalain are the Book of Allah and my Ahle Bayt. It is a grave error on our part to say that while the Quran continues to guide us as it should, the guidance from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was limited only to his worldly life. The truth is that the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam flourishes even today in the form of the Wilayat of Ali, which is held by the Chishti Sufi order of spirituality.